This is in the middle of chapter 2, top of page 12. There was a sentence interrupted, and it was the left side of his, and then it starts, mouth began to curl. Page 12. Alex flinched as Jordan laughed in his face. His breath stank like armpit and Cheetos. Then Jordan slapped the doll onto Alex's head like a dunce cap. So this is this bully kid messing with his sister's doll. Here's your baby, baby. And that's when Alex knew that Jordan McCreevy was going to make his life a living hell. Alex, his mom again. What? I'm listening. Really? Okay, I'll make you a deal. Answer one easy question for me and you can have 10 more minutes on the computer. Fair? Alex's eyebrows shot up. He liked where this was going. He was constantly trying to make deals with his parents to get out of doing stuff right away. Please, just 5 more minutes, and then I promise I'll do the dishes, he'd beg. And then they'd forget the time limit. 5 minutes would become 20, and half the time the dishes would get done while he was away. But this was a new twist. Now his mom was offering him a deal. Sweet. Fire away, he said with confidence. Here's the question. What were we just talking about? Alex opened his mouth, then shut it. Uh-oh. He frowned and saw where he'd messed up. He was a daydreamer, and she knew it. His mind had a tendency to wander, like this one time last week, top of 13, in Ms. Foster's room, when they were supposed to be doing class participation, but then he saw his dog. Then he saw this dog run by outside the window. That's what I thought. His mom shook her head and started for the kitchen. Now leave that computer off, take out your books, and do your homework. She was halfway across the living room when Alex bolted into the hall. Homework, he shouted triumphantly. His mom laughed, but she wasn't buying it. Please, Mom, 10 more minutes. No. 5. And I'll do the dishes. No more deal making. But it's my birthday tomorrow, he wheedled. I know. That's why you have to get your homework done today. Alex tried a different tack. You know what, Mom? You're absolutely right. That is so smart. I really should get ahead on my homework. His mother cocked an eyebrow, wondering where this was going. That way I'll have more time to play with the dog you're getting me for my birthday. Alex, you promised. You promised I could get a dog for my birthday. Page 14. I know, sweetie. If you get serious about your schoolwork and if your grades improved. But you got a C on your last math test. Yeah, but look on the bright side. At least you know I didn't cheat. He grinned, hoping he could get a smile out of her. She shook her head. We talked about this. A dog is a big responsibility, and you have to show us you can handle that kind of responsibility. Responsibility? Are you kidding me? I can land an F-A-18 Hornet on an aircraft carrier in a rolling sea. If you can trust me with a $30 million airplane, I think you can trust me with a dog. His mom laughed. Mom, you promised. What do I have to do? Your homework. Then she turned and headed into the kitchen. Alex stared after her, a sick feeling growing in his stomach. Maybe he wasn't getting a dog after all. When his mom called him to dinner, Alex headed downstairs. He'd finished his homework, which was pretty easy. Some long division and fractions and a chapter on the American Revolution with only 4 study questions. But even though nothing put him in a good mood faster than easy homework, he couldn't shake the feeling that his plans for the greatest birthday ever were falling apart like a bad game of Jenga. We're on page 15, and it's the first full paragraph. He drifted into the living room, scuffing his feet along the carpet, headed for the worn bark lounger next to the old gray sofa in front of the TV. As usual, he took the shortcut, stepping from arm to arm of the lounge chair and then vaulting over the back of the sofa. As he landed, he froze. He turned back, staring at the worn lounge chair, his dad's chair. Then it came to him, the way to get around his mom. Talk to Dad. Nunu and their mother were already sitting when Alex came in. He dragged the back of his chair and he grabbed the back of his chair and dragged it out from under the table, like he'd been told 1,000 times not to, but never remembered. The legs made a loud honking noise as they scraped across the linoleum. His mother shot him a look. Uh-oh, he thought, don't jinx it. He stopped with the chair halfway out, then tried to squeeze noiselessly into his seat. The table shook. Milk splashed out of Nunu's glass. Rats. Sorry, he mumbled. His mom dabbed up the spill. Drink your milk, honey, she said to Nunu. Dinner was hot dogs, macaroni and cheese, and, page 16, carrots. His mom had made his favorite meal, except for the carrots. This was a good sign. Where's Daddy? Nunu asked. They gave him an extra run, so he'll be home a little late. Another good sign. It gave him more time to plan his charm offensive. Alex could feel his mom watching him. He was still sort of mad at her and didn't want to look her in the eye, but he knew he'd better straighten up and fly right if he had any chance of saving the greatest birthday ever. He took a huge bite of hot dog and turned to his mom with a big smile. Great hot dog, Mom. Don't talk with your mouth full, she said, but then she smiled. Alex could feel the tide turning in his favor. An hour later, Alex was sitting up in bed, English book propped in his lap, and a brand new plan taking shape in his brain. Plan A was to talk to his dad. But Alex figured you could never be too safe, so when he came back to his room, he made a backup deal with the universe. If I stop thinking about dogs and do my homework, then I'll be rewarded with a dog. Alex was always making deals with the universe. Top of 17. In the morning. If I actually brush my teeth instead of just waving the brush around like a lightsaber, then Mom will have pancakes on the table. In 5th period. If I don't look at the clock for 5 minutes, class will end early. Once in a while it worked. If I sit perfectly still, Jordan won't see me. And that was all Alex needed to make him believe. But even with plan A in place and plan B as a backup, he couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't going to end well. Deep down, he knew what was really bugging him and why he was in such an up and down mood. His mother was right. It was his own fault he wasn't getting a dog. They'd made a straightforward deal, just like the ones he made with the universe. Improve your grades and you can have a dog. But he dropped the ball. And now he had nobody to blame but himself, which made it even worse, like when you stub your toe and you want to scream and yell at someone, but you can't because that someone is you. So here he was on the eve of his birthday trying not to think about dogs. He had been staring at the same page for 5 minutes before he realized that the words were just a blur and that his mind had wandered back to dogs. He shook his head and tried to focus, but the harder he tried, the more he thought about dogs. It was impossible not to think of dogs, and it was driving him crazy. Daddy! Nunu's happy voice penetrated the thin walls. Come here, monkey, boomed his father. Alex sat up straight with his English book and forced a studious look onto his face. They'd see he'd changed. They'd see he deserved a dog after all. They'd see right through him in a second. Who was he kidding? It was too little, too late. His mood came crashing down again as he shoved the book aside, turned off the light, and rolled over to face the wall, feeling sorry for himself. Maybe they'd feel sorry for him, too. Lying in the darkness, his back to the room, he pricked up his ears as the door opened with a click. A sliver of light spilled in from the hallway. Shh, looks like he's asleep, his father's voice. No, he's not, he's faking it, said Nunu, riding on their father's shoulders. Alex clamped his eyes shut. He didn't need to see to know what was going on. It was the same routine every night. The pink sheets rustled as his father lowered Nunu into her bed. Sing no, dear, Daddy. Alex groaned and rolled over, pulling a pillow, top of 19, over his head. I hate that stupid song, came his muffled voice. He sure is a grumpy Gus, said their father. Grumpy Alex, Nunu replied. Their father stroked Nunu's hair and began to sing. Alex tried to drown them out, but either the pillow wasn't thick enough or he knew the routine too well. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never... No, dear, He knew it was coming, but Alex still winced as Nunu sang out her favorite line just like she did every single solitary stupid night. As usual, she'd messed up the words. Most of the time he didn't notice it anymore, but now it bugged him. Why does she get to mess up every night and I don't? Even as he thought it, he knew it wasn't the same thing, but it was the best he could do on short notice. How much I love you, please don't take my sunshine away. Nunu snuggled down into her comforter. Alex heard her breathing slow as their dad stroked her hair and she gradually drifted off to sleep. The bed creaked as his dad sat down beside him. For a long time, his father said nothing, peering, top of 20. So it's peering through the crack under his pillow. Alex could see bits and pieces of his father. The heel of his left shoe worn down so far it curved underneath. The light from the hallway reflecting off a shiny spot on his pants knee, where the crease in the fabric just seemed to disappear. Two loose threads standing straight up off the cuff of his stark white shirt. Alex felt his father's hand land gently on his shoulder. Tower to A-Dog. Come in, A-Dog. A-Dog maintained radio silence. Mom told me you two went round and round. Everything okay at school? Who cares about school? Under the pillow, Alex rolled his eyes. School's important. Is not school. School's fine. Is this about the dog? Alex felt a flicker of hope. His dad knew how much this meant to him. He held his breath and waited, afraid to say anything that might wreck his chances. His dad gently tugged the pillow down. Why do you want a dog so badly? 1,000 answers popped into Alex's head. He shrugged. You had a dog when you were growing up. His dad smiled. Good, thought Alex. Yeah, Rufus. What kind was he? More like, what kind wasn't he? Not much to look at, but he was a great dog. I bet. He used to sit in the front window every day with a stick in his mouth and wait for me to come home from school to play fetch. Wow. They smiled together. How old were you when you got him? Alex asked. His dad looked him in the eye. Old enough to take care of him? Alex collapsed inside. I can take care of a dog. Your dog has to be able to count on you. I know. Taking care of a dog is a big responsibility. Alex felt a surge of panic. It was all slipping away. I am responsible. I'm going to be 11. Way into double digits. It's not just about age, Alex. It's about acting more grown up. Alex shot straight up. I am acting like a grown-up. Then he flopped down and yanked the pillow back over his head. Page 22. His dad tried to pat him on the shoulder, but Alex jerked away and rolled over to face the wall. His dad exhaled heavily, then rubbed his eyes and stood. If you loved me, you'd get me a dog, said Alex. His father paused at the door, his hand resting on the handle. I do love you, Alex. His dad waited. The silence seemed to stretch on endlessly. I hate you, came the quiet reply from the bed. Then Alex heard the door click shut.